The beautiful state of Arizona takes on a whole new look when the monsoon comes sweeping in.
High temperatures, high winds, high moisture, and high danger. In the blink of an eye, our normally quiet and dry desert can get hit with extreme weather.
In this monsoon special, we're keeping you informed on the unpredictable dangers of the monsoon.
We want to make sure you and your family stay safe during our extreme weather.
So when it comes to the monsoon, what can we expect from Mother Nature this year?
After a couple of monsoons, last year things turned around and we got hit with rain. And this year is looking pretty good too. All of Arizona could be in for an instant replay of last year's stormy monsoon. And it was one of the top 20 record rainiest monsoons for the Southwest. The latest climate prediction forecasts point to the potential for above average rainfall in our state this upcoming season due to reduced snowpack across the West from our lackluster winter. That'll promote faster warming to our north, which is what we want to happen for our monsoon pattern to get its act together. Now, if wildfires rage and smoke smothers the sky too much, that could work against us. Smoke makes it difficult for raindrops to form and grow, and it blots out the sun, reducing instability we need in our atmosphere to spark storms. In other words, throw those above average rainfall predictions out the window in this scenario. And can we expect another summer of hotter than normal temps? Climate forecasts pretty much guarantee that we'll be above average again, especially before the monsoon storms show up. And that temperature trend will probably keep repeating.
Thanks, Crystal. We've experienced record high heat in recent years and record drought, so every single drop of rain brought by the monsoon is needed.
Team 12's William Pitts has a closer look at the looming drought crisis facing our state.
Last monsoon, flooded washes, highways, storm damage. Enough to make you think that whatever drought we're having is long gone.
We're going to need quite a few years of above average precipitation.
Officials say there's a difference between short-term and long-term drought. The long-term is what's making Lake Mead more than 150 feet below normal.
What you're seeing on this reservoir here at Lake Mead is the result of a little over 2 decades of drought.
Lake Mead's water comes from the Rockies, mostly from snow, not rain. And since that's where our water comes from and the lakes in Nevada, a storm down here won't touch that at all. The National Weather Service puts out a drought monitor that does show Arizona's improving. But long-term drought is a long-term problem, and experts say even a massive monsoon rain won't fix that.
Now to our 12 News exclusive monsoon meter. We use it to keep you up to date on storm chances in your community. Here's how it works. Staying informed and knowing what to expect on any given day, anywhere in the state, is key to keeping safe. But a typical day in Arizona during the summer monsoon can look very different depending on where you live. That's where the exclusive 12 News monsoon meter comes in. We use the 12 News monsoon meter to divide the state into 5 distinct regions and examine the probability of thunderstorms for western Arizona, northern Arizona, the White Mountains, southeastern Arizona, and the Valley. We pinpoint the chances for damaging wind, blinding dust, torrential downpours, and flash flooding for the different terrain and locations around the state. When the monsoon meter reads low, such as a 0, 1, or 2, you can expect a lower chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms. But as that monsoon meter number climbs, so does your chance for powerful thunderstorms and severe weather. When you find yourself under an 8, 9, or 10, brace yourself for widespread, powerful thunderstorms, damaging winds, and the possibility of flash flooding. Crucial information you need to stay safe.
No doubt about it, the monsoon produces some powerful storms and images.
And we want to thank our 12 News weather watchers for always sending in such great pictures of our weather.
Make sure you keep them coming all season long. We love to show them on TV and online.
Crystal, we need you in the move truck.
Copy that, I'll be right in. Communication is everything when a natural disaster strikes. Wildfires, flash flooding, and mudslides. We could see it all during monsoon. And now, for the first time, this move truck is ready to roll to the rescue to bring power and communication to the community.
That's right, Crystal. IEEE is an organization based on engineers. After Hurricane Katrina and Superstorm Sandy, we were looking for ways for our engineering organization to help at disasters. And everybody said that their power was out and they had no way to communicate. So this truck was designed around power and communications. Let me show you what we have here. We have satellite equipment here. This connects to the big dish on the top of the truck. We can get internet where there isn't any cable or any internet available. We have satellite TV so we can track the weather and the news while we're on site. We have solar panel charge controllers, and we have some networking equipment to allow us to feed all the information on the ground through our satellite. Here is our charging station. Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hook up emergency responders first, and once they're good to go, then they plug in people in shelters and elsewhere who need a charge to reach loved ones and other important contacts.
And we can do 100 of those while we're on site. We also have a series of radios on this truck. We actually have the capability to talk to police, fire, emergency management on this radio. We can communicate with anybody worldwide.
Why did you take the call to volunteer?
I was a volunteer fireman for many years. This was a way for me to get back into assisting at a disaster.
So where does the road take this truck when there's no SOS?
We go to a lot of schools and universities and talk about technology and how we use technology to solve problems at disasters. So it's really exciting to work with the students and to get the students excited about technology.
The Arizona monsoon may only last 107 days, but that's not the case everywhere. There is one place in Arizona where you're guaranteed a storm every day. At the Arizona Science Center, you can experience the monsoon 365 days a year.
When you're standing here, it really does feel like you're experiencing all of these weather events and natural disasters.
Rain, wind,
Probably the world's most unique foot massager.
and even heat.
Because it sounds like they're on a roller coaster.
Here we go, here we go. The forces of the monsoon are undeniable.
Monsoon rains fall, drenching the land with flash floods. The collapsing storm creates a microburst, driving wind and rain in every direction.
Collapsing thunderstorms also generate our iconic dust storms, reducing visibility to 0 in seconds. The Arizona Science Center features all these elements, geared toward kids and kids at heart.
And no matter where you live, the best place to track any possible monsoon storms is in the 12 News app. If you don't have it yet, just open the camera on your phone, then point it at the screen right now. It will read this QR code and give you an instant link to download the 12 News app.
Coming up, what exactly is a microburst and why is it so powerful?
Plus, Arizona is well known for our towering dust storms. Coming up, what you need to know before the dust rolls in.
You're watching the 12 News 2022 Monsoon Special.
Well, a groundbreaking project is happening right here in Arizona.
New homes are being built.
Monsoon season brings the threat of dust storms, which are very dangerous for drivers. So what should you do if you find yourself behind the wheel in that blinding dust?
Highly encourage individuals to do is first not panic and then pull aside to stay alive. The driver should slowly and safely pull aside to the right emergency shoulder.
Once you are safely to the side of the road, turn off your lights.
It's very important to turn off that light because individuals driving into a dust storm are going to think that you are still moving in the roadway. Keeping your foot also off the brake too will help not illuminate your vehicle at all. You're at this point wanting to be very stealth-like, stay inside the vehicle and keep your seatbelt on. That truly is the safest environment for you and for others.
Stopping on the shoulder is safer than trying to drive through the dust.
Depth perception during that time is going to be also altered. quite a bit. It's going to be difficult to judge exactly how far away those vehicles are, and they could be right in front of you, stopped, and you wouldn't even know it.
And when conditions improve,
slowly and safely get back onto the highway. Don't rush it.
Sergeant Sekrecki encourages everyone to activate the emergency alerts on their cell phones so you are notified of any dust storms that might impact your travels. That way you can reroute or delay your trip.
Thanks, Jamie. When it comes to monsoon forecasting, look out for more numbers.
There's a 100% chance that you'll see more percentages being used by the National Weather Service, thanks to probabilistic forecasting. In order to make the forecasts easier to understand, meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Phoenix are using probabilistic forecasts.
We feel like probabilistic forecasting, giving those percentages, is just a lot more clear.
Probability is the chance that something will happen, or the likelihood I'll land on heads. However, forecasts are a bit more complex with more variables and potential outcomes. So we could say that probability is like rolling a dice.
We want to attach a number to that possibility. So instead of saying it's possible that it could rain a half an inch today, there's a 70% chance that we could see a half an inch of rain today.
Meteorologists, like Jared Heil, are now expanding this forecast tool beyond rain chances in order to effectively communicate life-saving information to the public.
Making it clearer for the public to understand what could head their way as well, because there's more to a forecast than just the one number you see on a 7-day forecast.
Clearer forecasts for monsoon 2022.
As we've been explaining, when it comes to the monsoon, our weather can change in a second, especially if a microburst hits.
This type of storm can be devastating. Here's a closer look at a microburst. Once our wet monsoon season gets going, a hot afternoon can change quickly with strong thunderstorms and severe weather.
Oh my God!
And even microbursts. Wind damage caused by microbursts can be even worse than tornadoes. So how do microbursts work? To simplify the workings of a thunderstorm, an updraft pulls moisture and heat into the storm, which it uses as energy, while colder air, rain, and hail exit the storm in and around the downdraft. Strong updrafts can hold a great deal of rain and hail high inside a thunderstorm. But as it weakens and that updraft can no longer hold rain and hail airborne, it can come crashing down as a microburst. These incredibly dangerous winds accelerate towards the ground, reaching speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour, spreading out in all directions as it hits the ground. They are generally less than 2.5 miles in diameter and can last several minutes. These winds can knock trees to the ground, take down power lines, cause extensive damage to homes and buildings as well as cars, not to mention creating blinding rain that literally blows sideways. Microbursts are difficult to predict, so if there's a severe thunderstorm warning, it is best to assume a microburst could happen. The best course of action is to move indoors and stay away from windows until the warning expires.
Forecasting has come a long way, but storms are still dangerous. Coming up, we have the most deadly form of weather.
12 News, streaming now. Just search 12 News.
Welcome back. Forecasting technology has improved drastically over the last 50 years, but deadly and destructive weather is still common.
So what are the deadliest storm-related hazards? You may be surprised. So what's at the top? Flooding. Believe it or not, just 12 inches of water can float your car away. Next on the list is lightning. You may be surprised to hear tornadoes are the third deadliest form of severe weather. And speaking of flooding, wildfire season and the monsoon are a dangerous combination for us here in Arizona.
When those two collide, we have a greater risk of flash flooding, and here's why. Wildfires can burn thousands of acres of land, and when the flames have moved through, they leave behind a giant burn scar. No trees, bushes, and plants to intercept the rain, and even worse, the topsoil conditions have changed and no longer absorb water.
Any excessive quick bursts of rain, that water completely wants to run off immediately. The soil doesn't allow it to absorb in, and so that's where the increase in flash flood occurs.
And making matters worse, it's more than just water rushing down into low-lying areas.
Many times you have a lot of debris, ash, and material with that, and you get what you call debris flows. And that's where it gets concerning, because if you're in areas downstream, sometimes areas have never seen flooding before, but because of all that debris, it can tend to block up culverts and things like that, and now water's running in areas that normally don't see flooding.
So what should people living near burn scars do to protect themselves and their property?
The best thing is make sure that you don't let your guard down. Again, if you're near a burn area, especially if it's higher terrain in some foothill area locations. Burn areas, again, can push water into any low-lying areas that have never seen water in the past.
It can take several years for those burn scars to heal and conditions to return to normal. So those who live near burn scars from years past should remain vigilant.
We analyze things year after year to figure out what that threshold is. And sometimes it can be 4 or 5 years before you're out of the woods of having potential impacts from flash flooding from burn areas.
And regardless of where flooding is occurring, never drive through a flooded roadway. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Be sure to download the 12 News app so you get immediate alerts to any flash flooding happening where you live.
Coming up, such a sight to see. Our monsoon storms are so big you can spot them from space. You're watching the 12 News 2022 Monsoon Special.
Our monsoon storms aren't just seen here on Earth.
Satellites up in space give us an out-of-this-world view of the majestic storms. The splendor of the Arizona monsoon is undeniable. These powerful features are not just seen on the ground, but also from outer space thanks to weather satellites. These images are mostly captured by the GOES West satellite. Because the satellite spins at the same speed that the Earth rotates, this is the main satellite that we use to watch the Arizona monsoon in all her glory, from over 22,000 miles above the Earth's surface. Depending on the severity of our weather, new pictures are taken every 30 seconds to 5 minutes, so fresh data is always coming in.
During the daytime, most of it is visible, so what you would see with the naked eye in the visible spectrum, but here at nighttime we're actually looking at the infrared spectrum, looking at temperatures.
Satellite images can also show snow and ice, smoke plumes, cloud temperatures, and even wind speed and motion within storms. All that data helps create weather models, which turn into our forecasts. And that's not all. The geostationary lightning mapper records flashes of lightning from cloud tops of a storm.
So this gives us a really good indication of the spatial extent of the lightning,
which could help save lives. Thank you for joining us for this 12 News Monsoon 2022 special.
As you've seen, Arizona's monsoon is a stunning but deadly force.
Our goal is to keep you and your family safe from any wild weather that may pop up.
So stay informed about approaching storms. Follow us on 12 News, 12news.com, and all of our social media channels.